New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev BRZ and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And good morning, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you over here.
Rev Z right here.
And it's 7 a.m. on a Friday morning here on the Mountain Time Zone. And that means it is time for Ministers Talking Shit, our weekly opportunity to get together and talk about whatever we want to talk about. And truthfully, Z, I'm getting a little tired of talking about how screwed up our government is.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's like, telling everybody the sun is shining and then it's 100 degrees outside. It's like, oh my God, what is going on? I think we have to pivot maybe, and at least consider the idea of pivoting in terms of how do we take these things and repackage them or something. I'm not sure what the right word is now. I have to think about it. But at the end of the day, for me, this whole current administration is about distraction. It's like sleight of hand magic. I want you to look at this hand over here, but pay no attention to this hand over here that's robbing you blind. And I think for me, that's what's going on. I mean, it to me, it's very clear. Now, I don't know. I could be blind in one eye and can't see out the other one, but that's what it feels like.
And you don't need your eyes to tell you how you feel. You don't need to see what they're putting out there, right, to know how you feel. Because when I see things like a Trump 2028 hat for $50, by the way, like who in the world thinks $50 is an acceptable price for a baseball cap? Plus shipping and handling, I'm sure you're gonna pay $60, $75 for a friggin' baseball cap by the time it's done. But when I see things like a $50 Trump 2028 baseball cap, it makes my stomach turn. When I listen to Pam Bondi lie through her teeth, it makes my stomach turn. When I see Marco Rubio get all petulant and pissy and mad about and not say anything, it makes my stomach turn. Because how many times do we need to be lied to? How many times do they think they can lie directly to our face and us not call them on it? There was maybe we should show this. I want to actually, I do. You're gonna have to give me a minute because I'm gonna have to. I got to find something here that I want people to see. Because I ran into this yesterday. Let me see if I can get it set up. Yeah, all right. We should be able to share this, and I want you all to see this, because this, I think, whoever this guy is, I don't know. This is an artist. It's a singer-songwriter, guitarist. I found it as a Facebook reel, so that's how I'm going to share it with you. And when I first saw it, my first response was, "Oh, hell no!" But we got to figure out how to go back, how to refresh it.
Well, you got your bucket,
because otherwise you miss the beginning. There we go. That's how it'll probably work. So this is quick, folks, but it's a good song, and that's not the right layout either. Let's find a good layout so we can watch this and together here and enjoy ourselves. All right, I guess that's going to have to be it. And be sure, man, listen for the lyrics on this one. Now come on, boy. No.
They're trying to keep they're trying to keep it hidden.
Here it is. Okay. So can you see it, Z? All right, I'm trusting the world. I'm trusting the world can see this one. This is called The List. Wells Music. You ready? Here we go.
well, you got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes. That's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist, and buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list. It's a mystery list with a twist. It's a myth of a list that we all just missed. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, it's probably best to forget that list. Now, what were we talking about? I don't remember, but I sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino cash to tell. Well, I wouldn't want to be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Any implicated dude will tell you. Anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. I hope. So it's off to war I go. Well, they said they's gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They owe. So it's off to war we go. Send the poor off to war. What else are we for? They owe. Well, you got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do.
Now that, like I said, that caught me. I saw that and scrolled by the list. Oh, you got your grocery list. You did it. I was like, all right, whatever. And we get to, there ain't no Epstein list. This man is a genius because.
Well, you know, here's the thing. This Epstein list, right, is a prime example in my mind of the hypocrisy, right, and the just flat out denial of what's going on. Now, you know, we've seen 47 just railing at this guy. You're still talking about him, but there are numerous pictures of him and that creep that he calls him together, smiling. So, I mean,
there's video of him smiling, joking, laughing.
That at one point you guys were hanging out.
Right.
Exactly. As if their relationship was more than casual. And now, you know, if it was a bunch of Democrat names on there, and let's assume that this is plethora of people that are on there, if there were more Democrat names, I would say they might say, yeah, let's publish this. But if there's some people that they got in the office now, they're not doing that.
Well, here's the thing, right? Joe Biden's name isn't on that list. Barack Obama's name isn't on that list. Bill Clinton's name, I think, is on that list, right? There's a good chance Bill's name's on there, but he don't care about that because he has one. Somebody pointed this out to me, and I kind of missed it, but I dare you to find an interview with a top Trump official from the last 6 months that doesn't blame it all on Biden. Like, it is part of their script. It is hardwired into their brain at this point. Ask me a question. Ask me any question in the world. Tell me about this. Oh, well, I'm doing a great job because, well, Biden fucked it all up. He just left it a mess. Or Biden wouldn't have done that, or Biden wouldn't have done this, or Biden would have done this other damn thing. And, Joe Biden wouldn't have called FEMA in to help Texas for a couple more days. Like, come on. Let's stop. Not everything that's happening in our country, not everything Donald Trump is doing is related to repealing or fixing a Biden era policy. And why do people keep believing this is what is confusing to me, is what confounds me, is honestly what keeps me up at night, is how our well-educated, smart people, how have they fallen for vilifying anything that comes from anybody other than Donald Trump, and everything is hell. We could have an asteroid hit the ground and it'd be Joe Biden's fault. The guy's going to be dead and buried, and Trump's still going to be saying, yeah, but you know what Biden did, right?
Well, again, in my mind, if we just take a glance across the landscape of stuff that has happened in the last week, right? So they got the big beautiful bill passed at the very end there, and so now all of the stuff is coming out on that, right? So they are beginning to see that there's some traps in there for common people. Then you go and look, the Supreme Court has given him the right to go and fire people from the federal government again. Then there's, in that big beautiful bill, he starts cutting down electrical stuff or alternative energy and saying that there is no climate change. Yet we have biblical proportion floods in several places across the country. In Texas, obviously, we send our hearts and prayers and hands and money and everything down there because that's a disaster. Then they also had monumental floods. If you just look at the pictures in New Mexico, they got them in Raleigh, North Carolina, doing that whole area. Now they got them up in Boston. So we got, and then you flip over just on the climate change. They had to close the Acropolis over in Greece because the heat ain't just here. It was 104 degrees. So they had to close that thing down. So climate change is real. Then you look at, healthcare, right? A new variant of COVID-19 is supposed to be raising its head. And then you got alligator Alcatraz in the middle of the hurricane playground. I hope they have an evacuation plan for those people that they're putting in that center or whatever they're calling it, because looking at the warmth of the waters and the activity right now, and we're just getting ready to get warm on storm season.
Yep.
Mid-July, beginning of August, it's gonna pump up, and he's distracting from all of this.
I saw a headline by NBC News. U.S. rocked by fourth 1 in 1,000-year storms in less than a week. Climate change is making severe storms more common and more intense. So I remember Boulder was hit Remember, what was it? Must have been 2014, 2015, 2014 or 2015. Boulder was hit with a catastrophic once in a 1,000-year flood. And part of it was so much rain, and the mountain rivers and the mountain streams couldn't handle it, and a whole town was pretty much wiped off the map in Colorado. In that, people don't realize that little mountain town called Jamestown used to be a cute little kind of almost ghost town. People could get away. They had some great mountain biking. Pretty much the whole town was wiped away in that flood. We're seeing that now in Texas. And at that time, maybe it was really a once in a 1,000-year flood. But this is one of the shittiest once in a 1,000 years we've had in a long time, when we're getting multiples of these across the country in different places. And we got idiots like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, I'm going to propose legislation to stop weather modification. Honey, we need to figure out how to either modify it in a way that works, or stop screwing around and admit that we have a climate change problem. Admit that we have a problem, and we got to do something about it.
I saw a news story yesterday. I don't know if it was on CNN or I'm not sure where it was, but there was a young man. He has a company. I forget the name of it, but he was insinuating that those floods, part of the reason for that crazy rainfall they had, because they said in some places that rain came at they got like 20 inches of rain. Right. And he says that they were doing cloud seeding and they did too much or whatever, or it got out of hand, and that was part of the problem that caused that rain to come down in such a torrent. But I mean, let's just face it. We as a people, I believe, we have to form real community now, because this is not just affecting the people of Texas. It's affecting them the most, right? Because now they got loss of life, loss of property, right, and God knows what else. But to support them is going to cause other resources to be shifted from one place to another at all levels, local, state, and federal, which is going to keep money from going somewhere else. And if we doing this shell game with the money, and at the same time we are like, I don't know, giving money to people who can afford to pay taxes, we're going to be, I mean, it's a catch-22, but it's going to be a rough catch-22. It's going to be rough if we can't get a handle on this and come together as a people and demand and hold government accountable at any level to support us. We put you in office to have this job where you get, in front of the cameras and you get some perks and this, that, and the other, but we don't seem to be getting anything out of it.
Did you, I agree with you, Z, 100. And it, we're at a point where politician has become such a profession that people will break laws. I saw one of a Georgia representative was indicted by the FBI yesterday for running a Ponzi scheme. You're a Georgia lawmaker. You're a state House of Representatives lawmaker, and you're running a Ponzi scheme because politician doesn't pay enough these days. And everything I'm seeing, this big beautiful bill, it's going to cut some people's taxes in the short term, and it's going to make people feel like they get a little bit more. And they've made such a big deal about how many people are going to lose Medicaid and how many people are going to lose this and lose that. But here's the thing. Those losses, those cuts don't start until after next year's elections. So these things were written into the bill to implement these the things that are going to hurt don't start until after people have had a chance to vote next November. So nobody's going to feel any pain. They're not going to feel the pain of this. They're going to feel the benefit of this for the next, 14, 16 months. And 14, 16 months from now, people are going to forget about this. This is going to be an old story. Nobody's going to be running on, oh, you voted to cut Medicaid, because everybody's going to be like, well, it don't hurt. I'm all right. Everything, you were all just scared, and it's all good. And they're going to vote in another class of clowns, and and then the hits are going to take. And then people are going to be cut off the rolls. And then it's going to hurt. But by then it's too late. And it feels like to me it's the same thing with this Jeffrey Epstein story. We're just going to wait until it's too late to do anything about it, and then you'll find out the truth. Then somebody's got that 1 minute of videotape somewhere, right? Whoever was paid to clip out that 1 minute of videotape with Epstein's jail cell, which we can't see because the camera that shows his jail cell is down and the whole 9 yards. 50 years from now, somebody clipped that and they saved that piece of file. They weren't stupid. They didn't throw that away. They might have gotten cleaned up in the process, but it's there, and someday we'll find out. But it seems like we get the truth after it's too late.
Well, and another thing, they showed this video clip where there's a certain portion of they're showing his cell, and then it clips for like 2-3 minutes or whatever, and they said it does that every night, right? And I'm like, why? If that is doing that every night, why don't we fix that? If this stuff is supposed to be monitored, and you have a camera that has a glitch at the same time every night, it's prone to error, right? And I mean, that's enough on him. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. But then the thing that I'm still perplexed about, and this is all the distraction that gets out there. We were supposed to end that war in Russia and Ukraine in 24 hours, a call to the president.
Right. And
now Russia is increasing its bombardment of the city of Kyiv. And now he's like, oh, well, Putin's not serious, and we're gonna send some weapons, and again, even that's a shell game. They're supposed to be selling the stuff to NATO, then NATO is going to give it to them, and I mean, it's like, what is going on? And for me, at the least, it's demanding, I believe, that the citizens of this country and of this world become informed. I don't want you to get marred down in the muck and the mire of it, but definitely we need to be informed so we can make intelligent decisions individually and collectively, because you can only keep hiding the pea under the shell for so long, and it's going to be revealed. And if you haven't put yourself in a good position, it might be devastating.
Yeah. I want to join Linda in. Good morning, Linda. And yes, I did see that story. There's a proposal to build immigrant detention centers here in Colorado, which truthfully feels like a playbook, because the Japanese internment centers during World War II were here in Colorado as well. And I think a lot of Coloradans like to forget the fact that we are home to a supermax prison here, a federal supermax prison here as well. Some of the country's worst criminals live in Colorado. But at a certain point, we're not going to be able to detain the entire American population. You can't You can't put all the Democrats in a detention center. You can't put all the progressives in a detention center. But I think they're trying. Come on,
Yeah.
we had a battle at a. What is more 2025 than ICE agents raiding a marijuana farm in Camarillo, Texas yesterday? I'm not sure if they were fighting for the immigrants or fighting for the weed, but there was a big fight going on in Camarillo, Texas yesterday. And I think the locals were saying, we hard enough, but all of a sudden you start taking our weed too? Shit, come on. But it would appear that Trump is using ICE and Border Patrol as a secret police force. And interestingly enough, yesterday I saw a YouTube ad and it's not one of the video ads, it's one of those placement ads that they make you think is a video, but it's not really a video, it's an ad when you're scrolling through Facebook or through YouTube, sorry. And it was an ad to join the Border Patrol.
What?
It was an ad.
That's for a job?
For a job. It was a job recruitment ad to join the Border Patrol. And it showed a bunch of, nice 20-something all white people wearing a nice cotton polo, and the perfect, idyllic. It didn't show the January Sixers in their tattoos and their full-on battle garb. But we're actively recruiting for border control agents while we're cutting every other department is losing jobs. But we're hiring more people that want to abuse people and quote protect our border. I almost filled out the application just to monkey with, figured, let's play if everybody goes to fill out an application to be a Border Patrol agent, what would happen? Let's blow up their system kind of thing. And then I thought, no, I put my name and address in something like that. Who knows who's showing up at my door? Mr. Brzezinski, we'd like to have a conversation with you. We got this place down in Florence we need to take you to have some questions and take a picture and such. So
oh God,
I kind of decided not to give the secret police my name. But
yeah, that's probably a good thing.
The secret police is hiring, and Social Security is firing. I guess that's the new what's happening here.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's just so much. The tariffs are back in the news. The tariffs the tariffs with all these countries have been on again, off again forever, right? And so they're making these poor, the bigger guys. They were able to do some sheltering, if you will, with the inventory. But small businesses, they can't be reacting to every knee-jerk time this guy says, well, we're going to push the thing 2 months or 2 weeks or whatever it is. And so you wind up not knowing what to do with your money, how to stock your shelves, how many people to have employed. And so the markets and everybody else are showing these knee-jerk reactions to what's going on. And it's like, we can't continue to do this. And I mean, the proof is going to be in the pudding, I believe, once school starts. Once school starts and people start, doing school shopping for their kids, for supplies and, excuse me, start preparing for all of the holidays. Because pretty much as soon as school starts, they start advertising for Christmas, right? Yeah. So and you got Halloween and Thanksgiving thrown in there for good measure. So I'm waiting to see what the market, the economy, not the stock market, the economy market, in terms of buying in goods and preparing services, what that looks like.
You mentioned tariffs. We one of the big names I heard yesterday, as far as tariff discussions, is Brazil. And Brazil is for some reason on the hit list. I think part of that. Have you ever heard of a company called JBS SA?
No, I heard JBS the headphones.
Yeah, no. This is JBS SA. They're a Brazilian meat company. Many people are arguing that JBS is very quickly and quite silently taking over the entire world meat market, taking over the whole thing. And I trust in spirit to put before me the news that I most need to hear. And when I see a piece about how a Brazilian company called JBS is silently taking over the U.S. meat industry, and it's no surprise. I don't eat an awful lot of red meat anymore, but I just kind of looked at the case the other day, and just plain old everyday ground beef was up to like $8 or $9 a pound. I was thinking, who the frick can even afford a hamburger these days at those kinds of prices? Well, part of it is all this company JBS. So, maybe Trump's got some ideas. Maybe there's some good things happening. Will tariffs against Brazil and therefore a Brazilian meat company bring down the prices of beef? Probably not. Because in my 58 years, I don't know that I see very many prices ever go down. And it does, to me, it just never.
One of the things I heard about the Brazil thing is that coffee might go up, and now that got my attention. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, and I mean, it's still young in this administration, right? He's only been in office. This administration has been in office 5 months out of 4 years. So, but there's so much going on.
Yeah.
I don't know how to articulate clearly all of the fronts that this stuff is taking. It's taking place on, job front, justice front, penitentiary and crime front, family, education, healthcare. They are attacking, just like they said, although they said they weren't using Project 2025. Project 2025 attacked every office / institution of the federal government to do what the Republicans stand on, is to reduce government interference as they see it, which gives those who have power, prestige, and privilege to run amok on those who don't. They can pay for things, they can trade favors for things, they can do all kinds of things that the average person might not even know exist. And so we have to begin to really educate ourselves, if you will. We might have to go read 1 or 2 banned books to see, why are you banning this book? What ideas, what criteria, what is in this book that's so bad according to you that we need to ban it? And we got to figure this out. Education is going to suffer given the stuff that he's doing, and that's what we need people to be more involved in now than any other time, I believe, is education.
Yeah. I think that is part of the authoritarian and the totalitarian playbook from all the way back. Is an uneducated populace is easy to manipulate. An uneducated populace is easy to maneuver, to do, and you can get away You can get away with anything when the people are silent. We got to use our voices. We got to get out. We got to get up. Maybe that just needs to be our new tagline. Good morning, folks. It's Friday morning. Time to call your senator and representative, right? Maybe we need to start a new thought phone bank to start phone banking calls to our senators but even that, and I'll be honest, even that, you can call Lauren Boebert every day of the week. She's never going to hear those messages. She don't listen to the people. She's got somebody that screens that. We pay for people to screen that. So we pay for her to ignore us. We pay for her to have people to insulate her so she doesn't have to hear what people really think. And I'm pretty sure it's with most of them. Every time I get a form letter saying thank you for my interest in this topic or that topic, it feels so disingenuous, even from the Democrats, even from those policies I believe and support. And that's probably part of the agenda. That's probably part of the plan to just alienate the educated populace to a point where we all just say, I don't know, you want to move to Mexico? Maybe we move to Mexico.
Well, when you look at it, that you would think that might be the plan, right? Is that, again, we're back to the distraction. If I can create so much chaos, so much fodder, if you will, that people, just like we said at the beginning of the story, I mean, this broadcast, I am just so fed up with it that you say I am going to tune out altogether. Then they got a free lane, right? Nobody's challenging, nobody's aware, nobody's asking anything. And then before you know it, you wake up in a situation and you're like, what in the heck is going on?
Yep.
Which a lot of people are already saying, but
yeah. So what do we got to do, right? We got to increase the consciousness. We got to up the consciousness. We got to stay true to what we believe and what we know. We may have to do some work to preserve the avenues of truth. We're creating islands of peace. We may need to create islands of truth, and we may need to keep sacred some of those places and those things that are. I'm reminded a lot lately of planting trees under whose shade we will never sit, and doing the work anyway, even if it looks risky. But doing the work anyway, being willing to speak truth to power, being willing to speak truth whenever asked, and there's a big distinction, I think, folks, between preaching fear and recognizing that there are causes for fear. I'm not going to sit here and say fear is not real and there is no such thing as evil. People are doing evil things, but I'm not preaching that that's the end all and be all, and that's the way it's going to be, and we just got to hide under our blankets until the dark ages recede again. We are in a moment in time, I think, that will be judged in the future. And one of the factors they're going to look at is people were either willing to step up and speak truth, or people went and hid under a rock. And as enticing as it is, even for a guy like me to say, I just want to go hide and hide this out, I know, and I believe that's not what's going to fix this. That's not how we're going to get through this. We've got to be together. We got to lift each other up. We got to support each other. We got to help each other. My zucchini is already starting to come in, Z, and it's only the middle of July. So anybody out there that's hungry, come on by my place. We're going to have zucchini bread any day now. Right? Feed each other, give each other a place to stay, support the people that are having a hard time, and be willing to speak the truth as you know it.
Yeah. I mean, when we think back to a time when we did not have all of the technology that we have now, and there's this whole new way of doing things, people got together to do things. They form communities, they form coalitions, they form care circles, if you will, that made sure as best they could that everybody was taken care of, that everybody had opportunity of some sort, that everybody would not feel alienated. And now it almost appears that it's just the opposite. We're alienating everybody. I mean, I can do it myself. I can stand alone. All I need is a TikTok or a podcast, and I can start selling this, that, or the other, and making coaching, and it's like, what have you done? I look at some of these people and I'm like, what have you done to be able to qualify? Now, you maybe have done some things over here as an entertainer, but what have you done to be qualified to talk about investments or legal system or things like that? Not that you can't you can't do it, but if you're telling me you're going to be a leader and a thought-provoking person in this field, I would like to see some credentials, whether they're from an established university or institution, or whether you got some life experience. And we have to begin to hold people accountable to what's going on.
That is a big vision, my friend, and I'm going to hold it with you. That is unfortunately, and it's unfortunate because I sit here thinking that's a big vision, and it shouldn't be. That should be the norm. And unfortunately, right now, the qualification to get on some news platforms is simply a willingness to support Donald Trump and to vilify Joe Biden. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
It seems to be all it took to get into a cabinet post. I saw one, man, talk about a little dark. It was that classic picture of Donald and Epstein together, and it basically said, if he hadn't had to kill him, he would have been in the cabinet. Like, whoa, okay, I'm not making that accusation. If the Secret Service is listening, I'm not making that accusation. But I saw that meme go by, and I was just like, "Oh boy, we're getting there now." There's a list.
It's hardcore,
folks. We're done about run out of time here today, but I want to encourage you. Keep on keeping on. Keep on. Stay with not the fight, but stay with the good. Keep looking towards the good. Find the good, promote the good, advertise the good, remind people of the good. I want to make America truthful again. I want to make America good again. And I want to make and I want to be part of what reminds so many that we're all in this together. Yeah, we're in different boats. Yeah, we got different paddles. Yeah, we got different captains. But ultimately, we only got one rock in this universe to live on, and it's planet Earth. And we better start remembering that we're all on this planet together.
Yes. Yeah, we live in a world of consequences. There's For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. And in some cases, there are many opposite and equal reactions going on. And so we have to begin, I believe, to all these things we've kept separate. We have to look at them. Yes, they're separate parts, but they make up a whole. And you can't alienate or isolate or take out a part of the car and expect it to run at optimal performance. And it's the same thing with life. We can't take out these various parts that for some reason people have fell out of favor with and expect it to run smoothly. So that's where I'm at. Let's get this machine working on all cylinders, not just 3 or 4 that had the most grease in them. Let's grease them all and make them all work.
All right. I'm not touching that one. We love you, folks. Thanks for being with us here on a Friday morning. If you'd like to learn more about the New Thought Media Network, please head on over to our website, ntmedia.org. You can make a donation over there as well if you'd like to support us financially. We do have a full day of programming, as we do on every Friday. Stay with us throughout the day. I've lost my schedule, so I forget exact times, but premier programming starts at 11 with Rev Skip and the High Vibe Hour. The Joy Show is at 1. The Good News at 5. Michael Mangus and Reverend Michael and his fireside chat is at 6 o'clock tonight. So stay with us throughout the day here on the New Thought Media Network. One of our other show hosts, Allie Benjamin. Good to see you, Rev Allie. We're all in this together. Exactly. And so, yeah, there we are. We're out of here, folks. We love you. We think you're amazing. And until next time, we want to wish you peace and absolute richest blessings. Bye now.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.